the one that was really a bad trip was when I went to Vegas for my bachelor party, and I took 2 doses of LSD, and we were going to go to Circus Soleil and then just enjoy Vegas. Well, a few things happened, and a bad just kind of thought process started, and we started to spiral. And my buddy thought that I was trying to get him to cheat on his wife. I wasn't trying to get anyone to cheat on their wife. I just wanted to go to Circus Soleil and trip with my friends. And he eventually left me. So I'm just like on the street in Vegas, outside of Planet Hollywood, is where I came to. I'm not really sure what happened in regards to before that. I don't know how I didn't get picked up by the police or anything like that. But I opened my eyes. Well, before I opened my eyes, I had this um, really surreal experience with seeing multiple different possible realities or outcomes of what had just happened, or it was still currently happening. And as these millions of realities are passing by me, the like it was like a puzzle piece kind of fit back into place, and then the TV screen went off. The old time, like when you used to turn off a TV, it would just kind of go like I heard that noise, and the light went out, and I opened my eyes, and it was just sheer black. There was nothing other than my hands, which were holding. It was almost like a VR simulation. Like my hands were holding a cup and my wallet and keys, or my wallet and my phone. And I had to convince myself that those things that I was holding were real, and that because I was holding them, they were real. And if I set them down, anything that they touched should also be real. And I basically had to rebuild my reality around me, and kind of come out of probably psychosis is the only way that I can explain it, or it's there. And for 3 days, I was paranoid that everyone was talking about me, that I was in a computer simulation, and all of this stuff. And I've definitely come a long ways from that, but it's not a story that you normally tell to people, to let them know that psychedelics are a good thing. Um,
Sure. It wouldn't be the first story you'd want to tell.
but yeah, it ultimately, probably what you're going to say. Well, what most people say is like, well, you made a bad decision and you went trip to Vegas, and like well aware of that, that aspect of it. And so I'm a huge proponent of making sure that if you are going to do something like this, you are setting yourself up for success. Um, and now I do go out in public, and, from time to time. My neighbor thinks it's weird, whenever I show up and I'm tripping. It's just like, and I'm like, I'm tripping, man. I don't need to get high. I'm good. He's just like, what? It's like I didn't even know. It's like, well, I'm past the point of like the peak, I guess. But like I've gone to concerts and done it, and multiple times, and never had any issues. So I don't know if it was just Vegas and all of the. I never got anything out of that experience other than like I'm not going to cheat on my life. Like it was like the biggest de facto thing, and I must have been worried about it subconsciously that it was something I would do. So like I kind of I clung to that during that trip, but it was hands down the thing that I remember walking away from it. Like if I hadn't had such a strong connection to my wife, I probably would still be wandering the streets in Vegas in psychosis.
Oh God, imagine just permanently stuck in a trip-induced psychosis meandering Vegas.
Well, yeah, like once I try like convinced myself like the things that I was touching were real, and like because the world, it was all black, and like I was like seeing the stuff around me, and there was a point where like there was like 3 feet that I could see, kind of around me, like a circle esque, and then pretty soon I finally like convinced myself that it's the if the fence that I'm touching is real right here, anything that it is like continually touching should also still be real. And then finally, that's when like the world itself just kind of built itself, and I could see everything again. And then the TV screens, like all of the screens and on the strip itself, they were showing just like regular TV shows. They weren't doing the ads that they normally do. It was weird. It was a weird time.
Yeah, it sounds like you like had 100% dissociated from reality during the trip. Because like you were saying, you had to rebuild it. So I've never had anything like that. I don't think you've ever had anything like that. What the hell did you take?
LSD.
Acid, or was it like a lot of acid?
It was 2 tabs.
Okay, so I mean like a fair amount of acid. Um,
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
though,
So
that's
200, what is it, 200 milligrams or whatever that is, or I don't know,
about
because
200
each tab
micrograms.
is
Yeah.
micrograms. Yeah. Yeah. So it was crazy for sure. I also kind of got lucky because after I rebuilt my reality and started trying to get away from there to find my hotel because I knew I had a hotel. Um, and my phone was dead. Um, I finally got to Caesar's Palace, which that was silly. Like I would walk up the, I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas, but I walked up the stairs to go across the street to cross the street on those big bridges. I got about halfway through and I convinced myself that the only safe place to be alive was between these two plants outside of Planet Hollywood. So I ran back and stood there for another probably 30 minutes or so. And then I like made my way back over. It got to Caesar's Palace and then actually made it all the way back. Like I just kept like tethering myself back to these plants and like Planet Hollywood. And then pretty soon, like I found water. And I think that's probably something else that kind of kept me alive. Is because I had a cup, and so I was drinking water from this water fountain. And then I got the gumption up to actually go inside into Caesar's Palace, and I was standing at the bottom of the stairs, and there's people everywhere. And I looked up, and there was my friend Nathan that came with us that wasn't tripping. And I just screamed his name, and he just looked like an angel at the top of the stairs. Like, and he turned around, and I was like, "Thank goodness!" Like, I need you to take me back to the hotel. Like, don't do anything else. Please, for the love of God, just do this now. He got me back to the hotel and I was safe. But yeah, it was interesting. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I think doing it in public, even however many times you've ever done it, like doing it in public at not a concert is a whole nother aspect of tripping.
Yeah, that's
That's why I'm afraid.
like I think
So
you
yeah.
said at some point during that there was a bad setting for you to choose to do that in.
Yes.
Just kind of like out and about in public and not like in a space like even a concert where there's most other people are high or drunk there. So being on LSD or even mushrooms or any other psychedelic wouldn't be that far removed from what the majority of the people there are doing. But just
Yeah.
being out on the streets where a lot of people are probably going to be, stone cold sober, but you're in Vegas, so a lot of them are probably drunk. But it's still such a far leap from the poison of alcohol that most everyone else is going to be on to what you're on.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of, I think, internalize that fact that you're so far removed from everyone else in the experience that you're having that might have been, I don't know, I'm not a professional, but that might have been what influenced your such intense dissociation from your reality, and then having to literally physically reconstruct it was because you were in a place that you were so far removed from everyone else because you were on psychedelics.